Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie and I'm a Christian homemaker and mom to 2 under 2. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 fall dinner recipes. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos on Christian lifestyle, homemaking, and motherhood. So for this first recipe, we're going to be making smothered chicken. I'm using 2 chicken breasts here that I just had left over from another recipe, but ideally you would use 4. And these are thin sliced. I just prefer it that way. And I'm adding salt and pepper. And then next I'm going to add some Tony's Creole seasoning. We add this on pretty much everything. Next I'm going to drizzle with some olive oil and then add a 1/4 cup of water to make sure that chicken stays nice and moist. And we're going to do 1 can of condensed cream of chicken soup. And then we're also going to do 1 can of condensed cream of mushroom and then stir it all together. And that is pretty much it for the chicken portion of this meal. And you're just going to turn your crock pot on high for about 3 hours or on low for around 4 to 5 hours. Next, we're going to wash and prep some broccoli, and we're just going to cut it up into small florets. And this is just one way to add some kind of hidden veggies to the recipe. You're not really going to taste a whole lot of broccoli, so this is perfect for those of you who don't really like to eat broccoli, but you know you need to eat more vegetables, or for people who have young children who refuse to eat their broccoli. So I'm just going to steam these in my rice cooker, and then once it's done, I'm going to take that out and then cook the rice. And this is a 2-to-1 ratio of water to rice, just per the instructions of my rice cooker. And I'm adding salt, pepper, and then better than bouillon vegetable base. This is just something that I had in my refrigerator that needed to be used up, and it was a great way to add some extra flavor to the rice. Once the rice was finished, I added back the broccoli and stirred it up really nicely. And once that's finished, all that's left to do is to plate the rice and then plate the chicken. And what's going to make this smothered chicken is we're going to take a ladle and get all of the nice gravy that naturally made on its own in the bottom of the crock pot and just pour it on top. This is so good, so comforting, and it is perfect for a quick weeknight dinner. Next, we're going to make some chicken sausage creamy pasta. And I choose to use chicken sausage for this recipe because I enjoy chicken sausage more and I don't actually eat pork. And I just brown them on the stove on medium heat. And while that was cooking, I got started on the noodles, and I tried for the first time this brand of chickpea spaghetti. And spoiler alert, it did not turn out well at all. I do not recommend. Maybe you know a better way to cook chickpea pasta, but I cooked it per the instructions on the package and it turned into one goopy blob and it was not good. I had to start over. Thankfully, I had just enough regular pasta to finish out this meal. And here I'm adding 1 cup of water, and I'm holding the pan like this because I didn't want my baby to get splattered. Once the sausage was done, I just plated it and then cut it up. And you could really use any type of sausage or meat in this recipe that you want. I really feel like the sausage in this recipe is what makes it, but you could technically use ground beef or ground turkey or ground chicken or really anything that you would like. Once the sausage was cut up into bite-sized pieces, I just added it back to the pan and then added 1 whole package of organic cream cheese. You want to make sure you stir this frequently or turn it down on low heat because you don't want the cream cheese to burn. Once the cream cheese was fully melted, I added 1 jar of organic marinara sauce. I like this particular brand because it has no added sugar and it's a cheaper option. If I'm making pasta for my toddler, I make sure I use sauce that has no added sugar, because if you didn't know, it's not recommended for children under 2 to have added sugar. And so this is what the sauce looks like once it's finished cooking, and then all that's left to do is to plate the noodles and then plate the sauce. And for this last recipe, we're going to be making homemade barbecue meat lovers pizza. First, I'm going to be baking the chicken in the oven, and these breasts were mostly frozen because this was a last minute dinner decision. To season, I'm adding salt, garlic powder, paprika, and then Tony's Creole seasoning. Next, I drizzled some olive oil on top and then massaged the seasonings into the chicken breasts. Then you're going to place your chicken in the oven on 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. But I left these in longer because they were frozen and I regretted it. I always check the internal temperature, and these had been way overcooked. They were very dry, so I do not recommend. Thankfully, I was able to save this with some barbecue sauce. I only shredded 2 of the chicken breasts here and saved the other 2 for leftovers for another meal later. Next, it's time for the pizza crust. I do reference a recipe which I will have linked in the description below. I don't always follow it exactly, but it calls for 1 cup of flour, and I like to use unbleached all-purpose flour for this, but you can use bread flour if you desire to. It's not really necessary though. Then it's 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. I didn't feel like messing up more than 1 measuring spoon for this, so I just used a 1/4 teaspoon and dipped it multiple times. Then you're going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar. I use organic raw cane sugar. And I probably made it harder on myself by doing this, but I really didn't feel like taking off the lid in order to scoop it better. And I just used the 1/4 teaspoon and dipped it multiple times as well for this. Then you're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and I just estimated for this. And then also I estimated for garlic powder and basil, but you can season it to your taste, or you don't have to add this at all. Then you're going to add 3/4 cup of warm water. I like to get my water for a pizza dough around 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and mix it up. I use a wooden spoon to mix it up as best I can with a spoon until it gets too thick and I have to go in with my hands and finish mixing it with my hands, which I personally really enjoy because I think it's fun. Once that is thoroughly mixed, you're going to take another bowl and just grease the inside of the bowl with some olive oil and transfer your dough to the new bowl and add some saran wrap on top, or a damp tea towel works fine as well. Next, I'm adding some of my homemade pizza sauce or marinara sauce into a bowl and mixing it with some barbecue sauce. Again, this is just to your taste. However much barbecue sauce you want to put in it is fine. Or if you don't like barbecue sauce, you don't even have to add it. Once the dough has risen for about 30 minutes, you're going to take it out and on a floured surface, just begin kneading it. I really don't know how long you're supposed to knead pizza dough, but I usually only do it for about 2 minutes, and then I start flattening out and shaping it. My pizza stone is already hot because I left it in the oven while it was preheating, so I'm shaping most of the dough on the counter before I transferred it over because I didn't want to burn myself. Once you get the dough shaped, you're going to take a fork and poke some holes throughout the dough. That just ensures that the air underneath is able to escape so that you don't have big air bubble pockets popping up in the middle. Next, you're going to spread your sauce, and again, this is as much or as little as you prefer. I think it's pretty much required to have a ton of cheese when you're making pizza. Once the cheese was on, I topped it with the shredded barbecue chicken, and it was at this point that my toddler somehow managed to open the back door and was walking out on the porch, because I think the dogs might have pushed on the door a little bit and opened it just enough for her to get her hands in. So I had to go track her down and make sure she didn't run off the porch in the middle of the night. This is real life with kids. Next, I'm adding just some sliced deli turkey. Again, I don't eat pork, but you could use ham in place of this as well if you wanted to. Or you could do bacon, really whatever meat you would prefer. Next, I added some turkey pepperoni, and then I'm topping it with some more cheese just because I really like a lot of cheese on my pizza. Then you're going to put it in the oven at 425 for about 15 minutes. It really doesn't take long for pizza to cook as long as your oven is preheated well. You don't have to use a pizza stone for this recipe. I actually normally use a metal pizza pan and it works just fine. Alright guys, those are 3 fall dinner recipes. I hope you were able to try them and enjoy them. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more.